Hello guys, and this is going to be interesting. According to Reuters, North Korea supplied to Russia at least 4 million and maximum 6 million shells. That is a lot. And most importantly, Russia had to pay $20 billion to North Korea. I'm sure they have never seen such money, but also almost all the shells, artillery shells that Russia right now uses on a battlefield are of the North Korean production. And this brings us to a logical conclusion. Russia does not have any military resources left, and the Institute for the Study of War is actually very right when states that Russia has no more than a year with its economy, with its army to continue this war before it collapses. And this actually gives us a very logical explanation why Trump does everything to save Putin. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the defeat and demilitarization of Russia, the only working peace plan, subscribe, we discuss all of that on the channel. According to the official research investigation conducted by Reuters, whom I respect, Russia received from 4 to 6 million various shells from North Korea. This is definitely tested because you can see the remains of these shells, and I guess for more than a year and a half, the Ukrainian soldiers report that these artillery shells changed tremendously. They have a different diameter, and approximately for 20 months, Russians mainly use North Korean supplies. Is that a sign of strength? Is that a sign of a very rich country and the second strongest army in the world? And I hope those who constantly say that why Ukraine needs all of this help from the European Union, from the United States, even not mentioning the Budapest Memorandum, the fact that we stand for the protection of the international laws too. But just look at this. Russia, the largest country in the world, with the second strongest army according to their own media, needs the backup from North Korea. And I totally agree with the conclusions in this article. It's no more the backup. We may say that right now Russia is able to fight only because it has such a trustworthy supplier, North Korea. North Korean Congress does not block anything, and they provide millions of artillery shells, approximately from 4 to 6 million, just imagine this number, delivered during the last 20 months. There is also evidence what routes they use to deliver these shells. First of all, by railway, because Russian territories, the territories of the Russian Federation are so large, and they actually border close to North Korea. And second, of course, they use also sea routes. All of that is fixed, all of that is seen, and right now we may also say that approximately 11,000 North Korean soldiers participate in the war on the Russian side. Tell me please, isn't that a red line for NATO, for the United States, for the European Union? Isn't that a red line, even if you don't care about Ukraine at all, that thousands of North Korean soldiers are brought by Russia to the borders of the European Union, literally to the country that right now, unfortunately, is a buffering zone? Is it okay that they actually bring this isolated country with its nuclear threats, with its anti-human ideology in the heart of Europe? Do you feel okay about that? Why do we still consider whether it's possible or not to send European peacekeepers to Ukraine, or trainers or specialists in logistics, when there are already thousands of North Korean soldiers? Think about that like 10 years ago, 20 years ago. That would be unthinkable, right? Why do we accept it now? Because of the weakness of our leaders, and I don't mean the Ukrainian president here, because we have no other choice but to keep defeating Russians, North Koreans, Chinese, I don't know who else. So this is a fact from 4 to 6 million shells, which gave North Korea $20 billion. By the way, that is also very dangerous, that Russia provides money to this crazy regime. Another reason to defeat Putin and to bring the peacekeepers in Ukraine. Subscribe to demonstrate your solidarity, and please share these videos on your social media platforms. The truth is very and very important. Even according to the analytics of the United Nations, and you know that United Nations are not very decisive in their discourse and the vocabulary they choose, North Korea is considered a strategic partner of Russia. And once again, we see that Russian army uses donkeys on the front lines to solve logistics problems. And no, there are no mountains in the south of Ukraine, in the east of Ukraine, and they don't use them for that purposes. They have a lot of very injured soldiers, and there are videos of them with serious problems with their feet, with their legs, not able to walk, but present on the front lines, and not the ones that were wounded, but people literally with various, I don't know, how do you call that thing that you use when your leg is broken, for example, and you have to walk with that. So these people return from hospitals on the front lines in such condition. That is not a symptom of Russia's strength. And this only proves the analysis of the Institute for the Study of War, according to which Russia at maximum has 1 year to continue this war from the economic and military point of view. Russia is totally exhausted. The numbers they may share with, I don't know, International Monetary Fund or something like that are totally fake, just as everything is Russia, just as their elections or democracy in Russia. And we see that. There are literally dozens of symptoms that already shape this syndrome, beginning with soldiers and donkeys and borrowed North Korean soldiers on the front lines, and finishing with the fact that right now the majority of shells, the majority of missiles, even various additional artillery systems, and I cannot enumerate everything that Russia uses in the active combat, are provided and actually constructed in North Korea. Russia is not able to satisfy its needs, and not to like 5% or 10%, but almost 100%. There are lots of videos of the toxic Russian military vloggers where they are super dissatisfied with the quality of the of the North Korean missiles, of the North Korean shells, that half of them, explode while still on the Russian side. But they are also dissatisfied with this dependency that exists inside the Russian military on the North Korean suppliers. And I'm not sure that the collapsing Russian economy can pay, these billions of dollars to North Korea for a long period of time. And in this context, when we see this weakness, when we see that Putin's 3-day blitzkrieg exhausted him during these 3 and more years of the full-scale war, and he literally does not know what to do, he of course uses his card, using Trump's vocabulary, Trump. And that is why Trump speaks about the need to lift sanctions, about the need to start trade with Russia. And it's so difficult for poor Donald to find the solution of how to do it in the context of Russia's constant war crimes against Ukrainian civilians, like the attack on Sumy, which luckily we managed to deliver justice for later. But still, you will not return people. We can return territories, but we cannot return people, and this can never be forgotten. This can never be forgiven. And that is why, when talking about this peace plan, we have to include 3 very important steps. Number 1, to defeat Russia. Number 2, to demilitarize Russia, to safeguard the planet. And number 3, to serve the justice. This is important for this lasting peace and at least a couple of decades of normalcy on the planet. Please like, share the videos if you agree with me. That is very important, and people have to know the truth. Everything is very logical. Russia is on the brink of the collapse. Putin is on the brink of the collapse. Let me know in the comments below, when would you like to see that happen? Subscribe to my new channel, Anna Danilchuk, and watch the latest video about food in Ukrainian supermarket. I will take you on a walk and I will answer some questions about food shortages and how do we cook during the blackouts and what do soldiers on the front line eat. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. Thank you for being my friends. And check our merch shop for lots of good items that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. Subscribe to my X, Threads, Blue Sky, Instagram, and Discord. All the links that you need are in the description of this video. And remember, I never invite you to chat privately on Telegram, WhatsApp, or elsewhere. Be aware of scammers. And here I want to thank a fantastic team of my friends who also happen to be the moderators and constantly warn you about them. Trust them and love them as I do. And thank you once again for standing with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!